Hi there, I'm Mark Benedict from Sports Upgrade. I thought today, since it's been really hot outside, I might take a minute or two and talk to you a little about exercising in the heat and heat illness. Some steps to prevent it, and also one or two things you can do to treat it if the situation arises. Today it's been pretty hot outside, actually for the last probably couple of months. I live in Florida. It seems like it's almost always hot here except for a couple of months. Last few days it's been a lot more hot. I like to call it smoking hot. It's been smoking hot out, that bad. You step outside and you just start pouring out sweat. Well, that's prime time for athletes to get themselves in trouble when they participate in activities outside. Unfortunately, being in Florida, our schools have just started high school football, cross country, and some of the other outdoor and indoor sports. So they certainly have to take some extra precautions and steps to prevent problems happening where they're athletes. Hopefully they're all doing it, and hopefully you're doing it too. Now, unfortunately, there have recently been several deaths in the southeastern U.S. by athletes at high school age from possibly heat problems. So we really want to prevent these because they are things that could be fatal. They're not just a little inconvenience. Now, reason people get into heat problems, and we'll call it heat illness, it kind of groups all of it together, is because they're dehydrated. They don't have enough fluids in your body. Your body is 2/3 made up of water. You got to have enough water and enough fluids in it. Now, the question always comes up when you're exercising is good old-fashioned water better, or maybe a sports drink of some kind? Either one will do. They recommend if it is a long duration activity, you do drink some of a sports drink. Doesn't matter what brand necessarily. The benefit of a sports drink is they all have electrolytes in them. Electrolytes are salts. When you sweat, you lose salts. You've got to help to replace them, and that's where that comes into play. If you have a long duration activity and all you drink is water, you actually can create another medical problem for yourself in addition to dehydration, because you have to have some salt in your body. If you don't replace enough of it through getting some back in your system after you sweat it out, then you can lead yourself into a bad medical condition that actually could cause you to die too. So longer duration activities, at least some sports drink, and you can fill in the rest with water if you choose. Now, steps to prevention of heat illness: make sure you're well hydrated before your activity starts. You can't drink it all in 10 minutes before you go out on the field or the court. It has to be a constant thing during the day. And make sure you're fully recovered from the previous practice or previous day's effort. It's where a lot of these people get themselves into trouble. They don't fully recover. They go right back out on the field a couple hours later, and then it just kind of snowballs and becomes a worse situation from there. Now, in addition to getting plenty of fluids, make sure when you do rest and recover, you cool off completely. Don't go, when you're done with practice, don't hop in the car, run over to the beach or something like that. It's going to cause you to sweat out a lot more. Again, let yourself fully recover between practices, between days and events. Now, once the person gets into practice, some of the things, if they start developing heat illness problems, they might start to feel dizzy, weak, disoriented, nauseous, okay, and they might start some muscle cramping. All these things play a role and are signs and symptoms of a heat illness. These people need to say something, which is one of the biggest problems I've found. Athletes today, they want to be tough. Coaches want to be tough. Parents want to be tough. This is a problem where if you try and tough through it, you're only going to make it worse. So athletes need to be educated, and coaches, that when these signs and symptoms appear, something needs to be said to the appropriate person so they can be removed from practice, cooled off, hydrated, etc. Okay. Now, if somebody gets into a serious case of heat illness where it is becoming a greater medical emergency, the best way to cool them off, they've found through some research, is put them into a tub of ice cold water, sink them right about this high, right up to their neck, put them in there, let them cool off rapidly. You call 911 definitely, but don't call 911 and wait for them to get there to try and cool them off. Go ahead and get them cooled off as quick as you can while the ambulance is en route, and then let them transport them and take them from there. Okay? Again, we talked about steps to prevention, making sure you're well hydrated before. One other little tidbit that can create a lot of problems this time of year for athletes, or when they first start off a season, is making sure they eat breakfast. You get a lot of athletes, especially high school, middle school age, they're used to sleeping late over the summer. They get into some bad habits. They don't eat. When suddenly they've got to get up for a morning practice and go out in the hot sun, they sleep as late as they can. They don't eat a good breakfast. They go out and they run around for 30 or 45 minutes in the hot sun. Next thing you know, they feel miserable, they feel dizzy, headache, sick, the whole thing, and want to fall out, and then you've got a situation because they didn't eat, and that's going to create a problem too. So make sure your child eats good breakfast, make sure they get plenty of fluids, and they rehydrate between practices and cool themselves off. Make sure if they do start having problems from the heat that they let somebody know and it gets taken care of appropriately and quickly. Thank you for your time. Again, I'm Mark Benedict from Sports Upgrade, and let us know if there's any way that we can help you to do what you do better.